Hi, I'm James Shillinglaw with Insider Travel Report, and I'm here with Sheelagh Wylie, who is the Chief Marketing Officer Americas for Visit Britain. And we're here on the Intrepid Airspace Museum here in New York City. And why are we here? Because we just saw Britain's Red Arrows, the Royal Air Force Red Arrows, do a flyby back and forth across the Hudson. And it's another opportunity to connect us with Britain. And Sheilagh's here to talk about some of the campaigns and some of the attractions that you can find, even stuff involving the Air Force and military in Britain. And you'll find out about all that and more on Insider Travel Report. Now, Sheelagh, first of all, that was a great flyby, right? I mean, boy, that was amazing.
Brilliant. It was just great to see the Red Arrows along with the Thunderbirds and seeing them flying in formation down the Hudson River.
Yeah, and then they came back and they were all had plumes of red and blue and white smoke coming out the back. That's pretty good.
Yeah, it's just really impressive. And in fact, they're touring throughout North America. So, some of your viewers will be able to see them in other places.
Yeah, tell me a little bit about You have an ongoing brand campaign, I Travel For. Tell me about how that campaign is rolling out and how it's working.
Sure. We rolled that out in 2018, and basically we're focusing on people's motivation for travel. So I travel for whatever their passion might be. So it could be food and drink. It could be, which we say, I travel for local flavor. It could be for the stories that people tell. We focus a lot on film tourism, and those are motivations for people to travel to locations that are in film. Travel for football. I know you're a fan of.
I know, I love football. Yeah.
And Manchester United.
Manchester United. Although Liverpool is growing on me, which is like the arch enemy. So I got a problem there. I'm sort of two-faced, but I do love British football, and I think English Premier Football, and it is an amazing game to go watch, and actually one of your great attractions.
Yes, for sure. And you mentioned Liverpool. It's one of our other passions is music. So we work a lot with Liverpool on not just football, but their history
and the Beatles and everything.
Of course, yeah.
And they just opened a new attraction, I think, Strawberry Fields, which they just opened.
Strawberry Fields is a real place owned by the Salvation Army, and it was a home for young children, and that was the story is about that, and it's reopened now to the public, and you can visit it and see the history of Strawberry Field. And it's really.
I was there a few years ago when they hadn't opened it yet, but we did see all the locations, and it's a wonderful thing to do. And there's of course more than just the Beatles. Yeah. Liverpool's such a musical city, as is Manchester for that matter. I mean, it's amazing.
Manchester has a huge history of music, and I'm sure people might know the band Oasis. So that's just one of the many, musical influences that came out of Manchester.
Right.
And of course, your boutique hotels in both cities, Manchester and Liverpool. And I think you mentioned the Titanic Hotel, which is just incredible in Liverpool.
Well, hopefully you're going to be seeing that a little later this fall. I hope to be going there, but we'll figure that one out. We'll do some more there. Now, I wanted to move also, because here we're watching the Red Arrows. There's actually a lot of great attractions related to military history in Britain, and I know you can tell us a few of them, right?
Sure, for sure. One, the Red Arrows are part of the Royal Air Force, the RAF, and in Herndon you can go visit the Royal Air Force Museum, which is 5 different buildings, really incredible museum.
I have seen it. It's an amazing museum if you like aircraft.
And on top of which, for those who are interested in World War II and the American connection to Britain, there's the Churchill War Rooms, which is one of the places, a must-see in London. And then you've got, connections all throughout Britain, because the Air Force, it's an island. So you either have to come by air or by ferry to get in there. So, not just the air connections, but we have also the history of the Navy.
Of course, the Royal Navy was very big, and in fact, these are the Royal. I think this is a Royal Air Force Red Arrows,
yeah.
But I know Royal Navy is all over the place there. But I have been to some of these attractions, and they are astounding. And you mentioned Churchill War Rooms. It's a must-see in London. You really have to go see that. And there's Imperial War Museum, which as a kid I loved, and the HMS Belfast, which is in the middle of the Thames.
Yeah, absolutely. It's an amazing. I went there as a child, and I just saw it a couple of weeks ago. I was at the Sea Containers Hotel and looking out onto the Thames River. It's just an amazing sight. You mentioned the Royal the Navy, and if you go to Greenwich, you can go to the Maritime Museum there, and one of the most beautiful painted ceilings in Greenwich. Of course, that's where the Greenwich Mean Time comes from.
Absolutely, no, it's amazing. Now, there's been some developments on air service to get over there. I know there's been you got even more airlines going over. Talk a little bit about that if you could.
Sure. We have the most direct flights since 2016, an average of 260,000 seats a week going directly to Britain, whether it's to London, to Manchester, Edinburgh, Glasgow. Some of the new flights include Los Angeles to Manchester on Virgin. They also fly from Boston. We have on Norwegian, new direct service San Francisco and Miami. British Airways celebrating their 100th anniversary. You've got flights from Charleston and Pittsburgh, and then American Airlines from Phoenix to London. And I'm sure I'm missing something there. But
well, no, there's a lot going on. There's a lot more air service to London, to some airports that are beyond Heathrow and Gatwick too, right?
For sure. United actually flies direct to Glasgow, Edinburgh, London, and Manchester from the New York metro area and Houston. So, you've got a lot of accessibility to go to our beautiful island.
No, and then the final thing I wanted to talk to you about is you have other campaigns coming out, and I know one in particular that will be very familiar to a lot of people about Downton Abbey, right?
We're very excited about Downton Abbey. So the movie Downton Abbey is coming out through Focus Features in September. We have several campaigns that are running in tandem with the movie. As you know, film tourism is becoming a big motivation for people to travel to different destinations. In Britain, we have an abundance of film locations. People are probably familiar with Harry Potter, some Game of Thrones locations, Mary Poppins, you just name it. Yesterday, the movies. But with Downton Abbey, and this comes from our I Travel For campaign, it's about the stories of the people and the upstairs and the downstairs of the real people that lived in Britain in the 1920s. The star of the show, though, is the beauty of England and the countryside. And so we have some campaigns that are going to be driving people to our website. We have a vanity URL called visitbritain.org/Downton Abbey.
Okay.
And for your agent friends, they'll be able to link onto that, see film locations on a map throughout Britain, and then bookable product that is linked in around Downton Abbey.
That's wonderful. And I do know, I think I was on a trip on Explore GB event a few years ago that we actually visited an old manor house that was being used, or a Harry Potter location, or maybe it was the new version of Harry Potter, the All Things, or what was it?
Grindelwald or something.
Yeah, I got something. I'm unfortunately, I sadly am not a Harry Potter fan, but I love it when I see it, and it's great.
Yeah.
So Downton Abbey, look for that. Look for the military history. There's more air service going on, and the I Travel For campaign continues. Sheelagh, it was great to catch up with you again and learn all about what's going on with Visit Britain.
Great. It was great to see you, James. Thank you.
I'm James Shillinglaw, and this is Insider Travel Report.